did an interview out here saying, I'm like, why would this dude even fix his mouth to say something about my charge? So what's the problem with you then?
Every time he opens his mouth to say something about Marsau, he gonna be talking about Martell.
I never say about you.
Marsau knows about Martell. I'm telling you right now, I don't have no respect for you.
Okay, you a bitch ass. It's like dude code, and it's like them beat together. I'm not saying nothing about it.
We've never been together.
Where the pictures at, Martell? Let me see.
Cheers to my boy.
What's that?
Go ahead and say your shit. I'm gonna
Keep going, big fella. Keep going, big fella.
I'm done. Hold on.
What happens when a secret grows so heavy that the people holding it can't pretend anymore? What happens when someone finally admits they knew more than they ever revealed, and that one quiet conversation behind the scenes might change everything we thought we knew? That's exactly what's unraveling right now as Marsau Scott finds himself pulled deep into Martell Holt's revenge plot, and for the first time, he isn't dodging the truth. He's acknowledging what many suspected for months, and even more shocking, he warned Karson to keep Melody's name out of anything she shared. Not because he was trying to protect her, but because he already understood how explosive Martell's plan really was. And let me tell you, the fallout from this is shaking Huntsville in ways nobody expected.
The part of the harassing communications was you sending the picture.
No.
Right.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, that's the question I gotta ask. The question is, how do you feel about that? That makes me lose respect for Martell.
If it was true.
If it was true, yeah. I didn't say it was true. I assumed it was true.
You assumed it was?
Now that he's saying that it's not true, how do you feel about it?
I don't know if I can believe Martell.
But before we get into the twists, betrayals, and the quiet conversations that flipped everything upside down, let me take you back. Because to understand why Marsau spoke up now, and why he chose Karson of all people to warn, you have to understand how this entire situation started long before cameras ever captured the tension. For months, whispers floated around the cast. Nothing solid, nothing proven, but enough to make people curious. Enough to make people suspicious. At the center of these whispers was Martell Holt, a man who has never been shy about going after the people he feels wronged him.
Some of the things that they was throwing at us, I haven't dealt with it, and I felt like it was a distraction because I really wanted to talk about, some of the things we really did have to overcome within our relationship and our marriage. But infidelity wasn't one of them, So I'm like, it just wasn't my case. And then once I started having people come to me, it was like, well, we've been offered money to come on the show and said we slept with your husband. I was like, oh my God. Like, this
Are you
is
serious?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it.
Some call it pride. Others call it obsession. But whatever name you use, it always leads to the same result: chaos. While Martell publicly pretended that he had moved on from Melody, behind the scenes he was collecting stories, building alliances, and trying to shape a narrative he could use to drag her down. Some people shrugged it off. Others quietly listened. But the truth? Almost everyone heard the rumors. And almost everyone stayed silent. Everyone except Marsau. At least, that's what we thought. Marsau always positioned himself as neutral, someone who avoided the mess and focused on his businesses, his marriage, and his image. He and Letitia insisted they weren't taking sides. They weren't involved. They weren't engaging in any of the noise. But something about that never felt completely right.
Just like, this is when I was live earlier and I told y'all I keep learning about people and just how people are, right? People keep wanting to run this narrative that I was conceived while his mama and my daddy was married. It's ridiculous. Like, they literally got divorced when my brother and sister were like 4. There is a, 17-year difference between us? Make it make sense. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's why I said people like to just make up stuff. Me and him, we would be like, child. Stop it.
Because even while they preached neutrality, they always seemed to be standing close enough to hear everything while keeping just enough distance to deny involvement. That quiet position worked for a while until Karson Blue stepped into the picture. Karson came into the situation with no desire to be dragged into Martell's drama. She focused on her work, her life, and minding her business. But once Martell decided he wanted a new angle, someone fresh to pull into his chaos, Karson found herself at the center of something she never asked for. And here's where Marsau enters the story in a way nobody saw coming. When Karson started hearing rumblings about things Martell was planning, when she started noticing she was being pulled into conversations she didn't want to be part of, when she realized someone was trying to twist her name into a storyline she didn't run to social media. She didn't go live. She didn't start arguments. She reached out to people she thought might help. And one of the people she spoke to was Marsau. This is where the tone shifts. This is where the mask drops. Because according to Karson, Marsau didn't deny the rumors when she asked him directly.
How you guys doing today? To be honest with you guys, we've kind of had a little rough start to the beginning of this week. I saw that Marsau went live yesterday, and he's sitting over there gloating and everything about some of the notoriety that he's gained because of the fight that happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville over the weekend. Even though it was kind of embarrassing, I wanted to be very clear about what actually happened during that fight and the events that led up to it. There's a lot that you guys didn't see. However, in the moment that I acted, I was acting to protect the situation, protect my brother from further harm. And what I will tell you is I wanted to really protect Dr. Adara Collins' work because Martell was going to slap the teeth out of his mouth.
He didn't tell her, no, Martell would never do that. Instead, he gave advice that revealed he already understood exactly what was brewing. Don't mention Melody. Keep yourself out of that. That one sentence said more than anything he's ever admitted publicly. It proved he knew what Martell was planning. It proved the revenge plot wasn't some far-fetched rumor. It proved he knew Melody was the target. And it proved he wanted Karson to stay quiet, not because it was the right thing to do, but because he didn't want her caught in the middle of something he already knew was about to explode. But here's the twist. Marsau didn't step forward when the rumors first appeared. He didn't speak out when Melody was blindsided by accusations. He didn't say a word when Martell tried to twist Karson's name into his narrative. Instead, he waited. He watched. And only when the truth started spilling out did he admit he knew something was going on. Now, you might be wondering, why would Marsau even involve himself in this? Why give Karson advice at all if he truly wanted no part of the drama? Well, that's where things get deeper. Marsau has always played a quiet game. He doesn't jump to defend people unless there's a benefit. He doesn't expose secrets unless he's forced. And he definitely doesn't insert himself into conflicts where Martell is involved unless his silence might cause more damage for him later. Because let's be honest, Martell and Marsau have a complicated past. They're not friends in the traditional sense, but they share enough history that calling Martell out publicly could turn ugly. And Melody? Well, Marsau and Melody have never been close. Their dynamic has always been filled with subtle digs, tension, and unspoken discomfort. So when he warned Karson not to mention Melody, it wasn't about protecting Melody. It was about protecting himself. But what nobody expected was how Karson would respond. Instead of keeping quiet, she stood up for herself. She didn't let Martell twist her name into something messy. She didn't let Marsau's warning scare her. She didn't let anyone silence her truth. And when she finally told her side of the story, she did so with receipts, clarity, and confidence. That's when the whole situation cracked open. People started looking back at moments they ignored. Comments suddenly made more sense. Marsau's neutrality didn't seem neutral anymore. And Martell's actions? They started to look a lot more calculated than people wanted to admit. But here's where the entire story shifts, because Melody joined the conversation. Melody confirming details that aligned with Karson's story changed everything. It wasn't just another rumor anymore. This wasn't another messy fight. This was validation. Melody confirmed what she knew, and suddenly, the revenge plot wasn't speculation, it was real. And that's when Marsau's words became even more suspicious. Why would he tell Karson not to mention Melody if he didn't know exactly what Martell was planning? Why would he warn her at all if he were truly uninvolved? What was he trying to prevent? What was he scared might come out? Those questions grew louder in the audience's mind. People began wondering whether Marsau and Letitia had more information than they admitted. Whether they were aware of Martell's intentions long before anyone else. Whether their silence allowed the situation to escalate. Because silence may feel safe, but silence can also make you complicit. And when viewers replayed the events with this new context, Marsau's behavior looked less neutral and more strategic. But let's go even deeper, because the emotional fallout didn't just sit with Marsau, Martell, and Karson. The ripple effect hit everyone connected to the cast. Martell's desperation to control his narrative once again showed the lengths he would go to stay relevant. He didn't just react to rumors, he created them. He didn't just defend himself, he attacked others. His behavior exposed a mindset where control mattered more than truth, where humiliation mattered more than healing, and where dragging others down was a way to elevate himself. Meanwhile, Melody found herself once again pulled into chaos she never asked for. Even after stepping away from the toxicity, even after rebuilding her life, even after choosing peace, Martell's actions kept reaching for her name like a shadow that refused to disappear. But here's the twist. This time, she wasn't alone. Karson stood beside her. Not because they were close, not because they shared a mission, but because both refused to let Martell rewrite their stories. Karson didn't crumble under the pressure. She didn't stay silent just because someone told her to. She didn't let Martell weaponize her name. Her strength, her dignity, and her clarity forced the truth into the light. And as for Marsau? Well, his admission speaks loudest. He finally acknowledged he heard the rumors early. He finally admitted he believed them once Melody stepped in. But the real issue isn't what he admitted, it's what he didn't say. He didn't explain why he stayed silent for so long. He didn't explain why he didn't warn Melody. He didn't explain why Karson was the one he pulled aside. He didn't explain what role he and Letitia really played. And that silence is what keeps the audience talking. Because now that the truth is surfacing, Marsau's reputation is shifting. His carefully curated image of being the logical one is cracking. His attempts to stay neutral now look like strategic self-protection. And the public? They're not buying it. One viewer wrote, "He only speaks when he benefits. His neutrality is a mask." Another said, "Marsau knows everything. He always does. He just doesn't want the heat." And honestly, with everything that's come out, it's hard to disagree. At this point, the story isn't just about Martell's revenge plot. It isn't just about Karson refusing to be manipulated. It isn't just about Melody reclaiming control of her narrative. It's about trust. It's about silence. It's about loyalty. It's about the lines people draw when nobody's watching. Marsau's warning to Karson revealed something deeper about how this cast operates. Some stay loud. Some stay quiet. Some stay neutral for their own safety. And some only speak once the smoke clears. But the truth? Every choice leaves a footprint. Every whispered warning carries weight. Every silence becomes a sentence. And now here we are watching the aftermath unfold as everyone tries to figure out what this means for their relationships moving forward. Will Marsau rebuild trust? Will Martell accept accountability? Will Karson continue to stand strong? Will Melody keep using her voice despite the chaos around her? Only time will tell. But what's clear right now is this: once secrets start spilling, they don't stop. And the truth always finds a way to rise even when people try to bury it. This situation revealed the cracks in friendships, the quiet deals hidden behind smiles, and the silent agreements made in private. It showed how quickly a rumor can turn into a storm. It revealed how some people protect themselves first, even if others get hurt. And most of all, it proved that revenge will always destroy the person holding it long before it destroys the intended target. So tell me, Was Marsau genuinely trying to protect Karson? Or was he protecting himself and Letitia from getting dragged deeper into Martell's mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because every opinion helps uncover another layer of this story. And before you go, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications because trust me, the next chapter is coming, and it's even more explosive than this one.